Hi everyone, this is my video about running. This is how I normally run, and we're going to come back to look at this particular technique. Doesn't look like much now, but I'll explain. But first, let's take a look at a couple of techniques that we could do, but they hurt my back. I don't know about you. This is how I ran for years. Mind you, I got a lot of medals and ribbons and trophies in my collection because of this run. But even now at this point, my low back is hurting, my right inner knee is hurting, and look how much I'm coming down on my heels. It's a long stride. It's pretty good, but it's too much on the heel. This is how I sprint. It's not perfect, but this is how I sprint. It doesn't hurt. Feels pretty good. But what do you think? Let me know what you think about that particular stride. Any critiques that you have for me? Now this one is a very toe-oriented run. Can you see how it's nice and bouncy? It looks like you're burning a lot of calories. It's going to make you nice and slim, right? It's very bouncy, but look how I inwardly rotate my feet. I'm not putting my heels down on the ground enough, which is not good for the metatarsals of the feet and certainly not the plantar fascia. Whereas this one, I'm too much on my heels. See how I'm externally rotating my feet a little bit? Can you see that? A lot of flexion through the inner knee. And I'm going to be slamming my knees and my hips down onto the ground with a lot of banging, right from my heel to my low back. And that one actually hurts my low back. So this is my running technique again. A little faster this time than the first time. But this is just where I'm nice and relaxed. And I'm trying not to slam anything. I'm not overthinking things. I'm not mechanical. I'm very flowy. But the trick to this is cadence. It's less strides, more steps. So less strides, more steps. Let's take a look at these poles. And don't worry about the arms. They're swinging around. That's fine. Look at the timing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. With a 1, 2 on the poles. Now they're a little long for me at this point. So I shortened them. Take a look at the walk. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, stride, 2, 3, 4, pole, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm a terrible walker. Now, can somebody who's good at walking technique take a look? Let's watch and let's critique my walking technique. Can you see where my injuries are? I got a right hip thing, I got a right metatarsal thing, and I got loose ankles, flat feet. But, I'm swinging my hips around, and that's what we want. A little bit of swing to the hips, but not too much, not too much swinging them out and swinging them back in, but just a nice hip rotation where you actually allow the lower body to do something. Because when it comes to speed walking or just rigorous walking for exercise or jogging, you want to include your abdomen and your waistline. It's nice to get those nice and strong as we stride. So it's not just about our legs, and people forget that. It's not about our legs. Look at how the rib cage moves. Look at how the waistline moves. Look at how the hips move. That is not how to walk. And that does look awkward, it does. But that's my way of trying to have strides and try to burn the calories. I'm going, okay, how am I going to burn the most calories on my speed walk? But that's hard on my knees. Look at my knees. They're inwardly rotating, externally rotating, and they're just going. It's too hard on my knees. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to shorten my strides and involve my entire body, not just my legs. So that one's very hip oriented. That one's like, okay, I'm going to do my hips. Okay. But it's about balance, isn't it? That swings my right hip because I have an injury. This is hurting my low back and my right hip. It's a little too much hip swing. So let's go down a hill. This is how I go down a hill. Short strides, and I'm backwards. I'm a little bit backwards, but look how much I'm protecting my knees. It's very much about holding my lower abdomen strong. My hips are moving a little bit, and here I go going down a little bit less of a slope, but I'm still backwards. I'm still quite backwards. My legs, my strides are very, very short as I go downward because I've got so many injuries. I have to, but look at this sprint. This is how I sprint up. Look at the energy. Energy coming in, energy coming out the back. Energy coming in, energy coming out the back. I'm not tensing, I'm not trying, I'm just going. So we'll look at that later a little bit more. But sprinting uphill is all about the energy. It's like you swim uphill. You swim in the air. Now this one is another good version of going downhill. I'm moving my body, I'm moving my rib cage. Hips a little bit, not too much. I'm not trying too hard to move the hips and burn the calories and make the shape. No, it's not. It's going to backfire. It really just is about getting down the hill in a safe way that doesn't compress your spine and bounce on your spine too much, but you are bouncy, you're springy, but you're not rammy. It doesn't ram your lower spine. Whereas your long strides as you go downhill are going to hit either your front toe, the ball of your foot area, the metatarsal area. It's going to hit that too hard, and it's going to cause a shock wave all the way up to the low back, and the spine's going to notice. Or it's going to be too much on the heel. Same thing. So here I go. Look. Big rib cage. Long strides. Just forward. I'm relaxed. And that's the key with sprinting, is that if you try too hard, it backfires. You got to just neutralize, get into ragdoll mode and go. And that's how you do it. Big rib cage. Relaxed knees, relaxed hips. So let's try really going down a very steep hill. That's a very steep hill right there. I'm just pretending. Very steep, almost a trail. Going down, see how my legs are a little wider, and I'm very much on my toes as I go down this hill. These steep hills you're usually quite short on moderate to mild trails, beginner trails. And as I come back up, I'm just kind of having a nice forwardly tilted run up. Big rib cage. Rib cage is forward. Head's relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Rib cage is leading the way. My rib cage is big because I need all that air in there. As I go down again, and I'm going to walk, and I'm going to walk down. See, my legs are a little bit, I'm leaned back. My legs are a little bit wider as I roll my hips down the really low incline. That steep incline, I'm rolling my hips down, and I'm very much on my toes as I go down, even on the walk. My shoulders are rolling. Oh, hi, birdies. As I start to jog again, now that the steep incline's done, and I turn around, and again. And it's all about the energy here, and it's hard to see. If you can see energy, you'll be able to see it. Energy in, energy out behind me. Forward. Very forward as I go steeply uphill. I'm very forward. I need to see where I'm going. I don't want to run into anything or anybody to run into me. Got to be aware of our surroundings when we're on the road. Very much. Always aware of our surroundings when we're on the road. But here's some poles. See, same thing. I'm leaned back. We're going down a steep decline, low hill. My knees have a springiness to them, and they're spread out a little bit. Okay, and I'm using my poles. When the uphill, I'm going 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Pole, 1, 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 before, but on the incline, it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. See? But I'm still very forward. And I don't look up enough to see. I use my other senses when I'm on the road. I've been jogging on roads since I was far too young to jog on roads. So my senses are about me. There's going down the hill. Steep, steep decline with poles helping me to keep me stabilized. And that helps my hips so that my hips don't aggravate and so my low back doesn't compress and tighten too much where my body thinks it's unstable and decides it needs to overly protect me. And then I end up with sore back, sore knees, right? If you can identify with that. But these poles are helpful because they engage the lower abdomen as we work. So that helps tone our core and our pelvic floor, which is always helpful for posture and also helpful to protect our knees and hips actually from injury in our low back. But look, feet are nice and straight, knees nice and springy, but I am chest forward. And I'm not busy looking around too much. I'm using my senses as I go up the hill. You got to learn to use your other senses as you go up the hill. So as I go down, look at me rolling the hips, but look at my shoulders. I'm way too tense. So this is a bad technique. This is where the shoulders, where we're like, oh, I'm supposed to be working out, so I need to be working really hard. And then subconsciously what we do is we end up just tensing up everywhere, especially in our shoulders. And that's going to put way too much pressure on the head. Way too much pressure on the head. It's not good. And it kind of cheats the rest of the body. It actually prevents the rest of the body from getting a good balanced workout. See, shoulders up. I'm tense through the rib cage there. I'm tense through the chest. My neck, the front of my neck was tensed, right? That's no fun. That wasn't comfortable at all. I didn't enjoy that at all. And the rest of my body just, it kind of got cheated. So here's my running downhill steeply with a tense body and tense shoulders. Doesn't look like very much fun, but look at my knees. Just because I'm tensing my shoulders, look how my knees, nope, not good. Too much pressure on the outside of my knees. between my thighs and my calf muscles. See? I'm too outwardly swinging, inwardly rotated with the foot. I'm just all over the place, right? Just because I'm tensing my shoulders. Look what it does to the entire body, just from tensing the shoulders. Too much on the head. Too much on the head. So let me show you a couple of things. Just going to do some jogging on the spot here in a nice relaxed way. Love the music that guy was playing. And as I run on the spot here, you see my shoulders are down and relaxed. My knees are relaxed, my hips are relaxed. I'm moving my waistline a little. I'm not the greatest at moving my waistline. I could be a little bit better, but you also don't want to swing it around either. But here, look what I have to do to keep my balance. And that's a good way to think about it, is how would I keep my balance if I had to stop mid-high knee? I would have to flex and strengthen my lower abs and my ribcage muscles. Those would be the things that I would need to be really strong in. So that's what I do. As my arms go up like this, it flexes different muscles. It challenges different muscles. But compared to when I go like this, allows me for a little more balance. So that's where I started, is with that arm position. And then the other arm position I used for sort of toning and strengthening my rib cage, which I'm really working hard to do. Shoulders always down. Enjoying it. Really breathing right into my rib cage. Allowing my rib cage to participate a lot. So I go back like this, and I'm very careful because this is even hard on my knees. And I got a lot of bounciness to my knees, I think. This is great to strengthen and to lengthen my iliopsoas muscles, which is why I do it. Plus, it's great cardio. It really gets me going. But my rib cage needs to stay very forward as I do this. Otherwise, my face is going to get really red, and my blood pressure is going to go high in my upper body, and I don't want that. I want my entire body to be participating in this, and I don't want my shoulders up like that. Look at the difference. Just because I tensed my shoulders, look at the rest of my body. I look kind of ridiculous. But this is what happens when we try, right? Because we're supposed to try hard when we do our exercises, and we're burning as many calories as possible. We're going to be efficient with our exercise. But when our shoulders are up like that, and we've got the mind frame of trying, we're actually cheating the rest of the body, in my opinion, because I don't get as much toning and strengthening through the rest of my body. I'm just inward. And it's just my upper body and a little bit of cardio and my blood pressure that's being tonified here. The rest of my body, not so much. Plus, I don't look like I'm having much fun, do I? I'm uncomfortable. I'm really uncomfortable. My head's starting to pound. Too much here. Blood pressure. Not good. Nope, no fun at all. Shoulders down. Be strong here. Yeah. Be strong here. I'm strong in the rib cage. And I've learned for my rib cage to be very big. I have a very big rib cage, and that's not because I was born that way. Kind of is, but because I ran for so long and ran well into my rib cage. Honestly, I think that's why I won so many medals, because I knew how to breathe into my lower rib cage, and I let my body just neutralize. Let my body neutralize, shoulders down. And then later in life, I had to learn to be strong in those places. I had to tuck my lower abdomen in, pull my pubic bone up. I had to breathe into a strong rib cage. And can you think about that? You think about breathing and you think about strong rib cage, but you don't think about both, but you can do both. But it does take conditioning. It's going to hurt at first. It hurt me at first because I had really tight, shortened muscles in my rib cage that I had to then stretch back out. And that meant a little bit of muscle fiber tearing and rebuilding so that my rib cage could come as forward as it naturally should. I had to recondition myself to do that. And then once that occurred, I was good to go. Lots of breath. Lots of breath. And I run with my rib cage and chest. Have fun, everyone.